Hello, retro fans! Initially, I had planned to make this a vlog, a short video, but while some sort of test playing the games I'm going to present today, I thought, no, that's going to be too stressy, too much in a rush, so I decided, well, let's go for some sort of whole episode. And to give me some space to actually talk a little bit about the games, my thoughts, how I have approached them, how I even came up with the idea of getting them, and why I'm doing this at all. Maybe I'm get a little bit lost now, but anyway. And so I decided that's enough stuff for a whole episode. Maybe not 1 hour, but well, we will see how this is going to end up. And as the title has suggested already, it's going to be about Atari 2600 games. Not that much of them, but some specific. And so before we get lost in details, let's start with it and let's go on. So, when we talk about Atari 2600 games, or 2600, or 2600, whatever we want to call that little thing, many people, including myself, have something in mind that looks actually like this. There's my finger, here it is. Pretty simple graphics, pretty simple game mechanics system idea or something like this. So whether it is a Phoenix or if it's an asteroid, nothing really spectacular with the eyes of today, so to say. And even pole position, which might have been an impressive game back then, looks indeed a little bit, well, simple, to put it like this. I was a bit surprised because I was playing pole position on the C64, and it's an Atari C64 cartridge. And my expectation or my memory was something like that the 2600 version is almost the same, like on the C64. But indeed, there are still some differences, but that's not going to be the topic for today. But just to come to the point, the Atari 2600 is probably not well known for very impressive games, graphic-wise, sound-wise, or even in terms of gameplay or something like this. And I was going through a box of about 30-ish Atari 2600 games, and I was really a bit disappointed by most of them. So I thought, no, maybe I just got a wrong collection of games or whatever. Or I mean, I have never been as specifically searching for 2600 games. I've never been really into 2600 Atari gaming at all. It was just some more like an accident that by some of my, let's say, C64 hardware acquisition, whatever activities, I got some of those little devices, especially the junior versions, so the smaller one, not the old wooden versions, every now and then. Until I came up with one that has been modded with a composite output video signal, composite video signal output. Arrange the words in the order you like it the most. Anyway, and I got a couple of games here and there, and then I was just putting them in one box and never really paid that much attention to it. Until some sort of recently, where I thought, well, it's a very iconic device. It's a very some sort of important system when it comes to arcade gaming at home, or home computing, home gaming, whatever we want to call this. And the games produced for the 2600 were more or less the reason for the huge video game crash somewhere between 1982 and 1984, something like this, which has led to major changes in the, let's say, philosophy or in the approach. Companies like Nintendo, for example, try to get into this gaming market. So the reason that the NES is called the Nintendo Entertainment System is actually based on this video game crash, because people were really some sort of afraid getting another gaming system with another bunch of crappy games, and then Nintendo decided, well, we are not going to produce a game system, we are producing an entertainment system, and they came up with the NES name, for example. And even on other systems like the Commodore World, C64, VC20, and even in, let's say, the UK part of the world, if you're looking at Acorn or the Sinclair computers, games had a different approach since then. So because people were aware about quality, people were about some sort of gaming depth. So it was not just about some fancy colors on the screen and your imagination. Maybe it kept being like this for a while, but people were really asking for quality. And so coming back to the 2600, in my experience, I was really a bit so and so about the console, and thought, there must be something wrong. So I went to YouTube, and one of the major channels I'm watching is by Sharopolis, pushing the limits of system, enter your name here, and he went through a couple of very, very unique looking, very different looking 2600 games, where I was really sort of impressed. I thought, no, we're not talking about the very same system here. I had just had some fancy asteroids and maybe some jumping frogs or something like this. And now you're talking about space games and 3D graphics and sound effects and something like this. And so I started to do some researching. Parentheses, please. And figured out what sort of games I might like to play. And then I was a bit baffled, because I learned that they are already pretty expensive. So I decided, well, maybe just go for some ROM files and play it with the Analog NT Mini, or doing some emulator gaming, or abandoning the project at all. But then I thought, no, let's put in some searches here and there and let them run, and every now and then I get a notice that something has been being available at eBay, for example, or at other second-hand platforms. So, and as I said, I let it run and didn't pay that much attention. But every now and then I was just placing a bit, and then I was just waiting, and then quite often I didn't made it. But surprisingly, on especially 2 occasions, I was really able to get the game for the money I had in mind. And at the end, I was really, really surprised that this was even possible. And yeah, so let's have a look at the games I got, and then we're going to have some gaming as well. And let's start with the most, let's say, simplest of them all. The very simple package. So let's tear this apart and have a look at it. And this game fits indeed into the earlier age of 2600 games, but it is indeed a classic game, and that's, I think, is something that needs to be in every collection, and it is Moon Patrol. As you can see, it's not boxed, so unfortunately I wasn't able to get this for a decent price as a boxed version, but I got a very good looking, is it called version, or how do you call that? It's not a copy. Is it a copy of a game cartridge whatsoever? So I was able to get a very good looking game cartridge, let's put it like this, including the manual. And yeah, Moon Patrol is really, I think, a classic game. I have played this on the C64 not so long ago on my channel, I think during a live stream or something like this. And I was really, really bad at it, but never mind. That's not something that's going to stop me. And I think it is an arcade conversion from a real arcade machine. And yeah, so I thought Moon Patrol, that needs to be in my box. And as we can see, it is very, very in very good shape, I was going to say. I was a little bit lost in thoughts already. And well, I'm really looking forward how I'm going to perform with this one. So then let's move on to the aforementioned graphically impressive games, gameplay wise and so on. And one that needs to be on my list, it is from a chronological point of view, the later version of another game we're going to talk about. But this is Solaris. And you may have heard of the name Douglas Neubauer. It is, I don't know, is it pronounced like this in America or in England? At least if it's a German name, then we say Neubauer. Maybe we say Neubauer or something like this. Anyway, and the interesting thing about this game is that Douglas started to work on it before the video game Crash. And then this project got some sort of abandoned or something like this. But when Jack Tramiel bought Atari and thought video games are going to get a second life or something like this, they had they got in contact with Douglas again and were asking whether he is able to finish the game, and he did so, and I think he did really an amazing job with this one. And as you can see, I got this boxed. It has a couple of bands, and it is not the very best version you may get, but as I said, I was quite surprised to get this for this decent price. The cartridge looks very nice. It is a little bit, as we can see, the cartridge isn't flat beneath, so the label has some small bumps here and there, but no complaint. It is the red label version. I think there are other versions of this game as well. And it comes with a manual, indeed, and nothing else except the box. And the interesting thing is that the game manual is actually something, it's even in two languages, so it's German with English title, interesting, and the English original. And this manual has some sort of a trivia behind it, because Douglas started just to take some notes for himself about the game and what was his idea and what's going to be the gameplay or something like this. And he was used to use desktop publishing systems for his own work. So he created his own notes within this desktop publishing system. And when Atari was asking whether he can provide a couple of words, info, sort of manual for the game, he simply sent this desktop notes, desktop published formatted notes to Atari, and they thought that's going to be the final manual, and they printed right away without asking any questions. And therefore the manual is not really a manual, it is more some sort of a string of thoughts, and it's about you to figure out what's really going on and how to operate the game. And what I really like about it is, as we are going to see in a couple of minutes, the graphics, the sound is amazing. The gameplay is so fast and fluid. It blew my mind when I saw this on the 2600. And you are operating within some sort of a galaxy with different sectors, and you can move between the sectors, and the galaxy is really huge. I am not sure how many sectors you have, but there are really many of them, and I have to admit I haven't seen most of them now. So maybe I've visited 5 or 6 different sectors, and the gameplay is really complex. So you really have a lot of things to do, a lot of things to pay attention to, and it is really very, very interesting. And now it's saying the 16 quadrants in the galaxy, and the quadrant 48 sectors can be occupied by Cylons. So that's actually very interesting, because I'm trying to relate this to the map right now. Neither can 48 nor 16 within this, so it is indeed a bit bigger than I think it is. But well, it is pretty big and pretty complex, and as I said, I haven't seen so many of those sectors, quadrants, whatever it is called. And even after playing the game for about half an hour, just one game, so not dying, restarting, dying, restarting, just really one game. You got 3 ships at the beginning, and I played this even on my rookie level for about half an hour. And as I said, I have seen a fraction of the game so far. That's really, really impressive. So, and as I said, chronologically, this is not the first game Douglas met or has created, or whatever we want to call it. Nope, there's another one. And some considered the first one as the superior version. I haven't decided yet, but we're going to have a look. I'm just was looking for my knife or cutter, because I haven't find the time to take a look at this one. Oops. It's well packed. And you may guess already, it's going to be Star Raiders. And it is boxed as well. As we can see, the box is not in best conditions, but it is the original box. And I don't going to complain about this. It's not a scratch, is a cut or whatever. Because there are even more boxes inside. So, and if you set back yourself to the year 83, maybe, not mentioned somewhere. This must have been such a great experience getting a box like this for your Atari 2600, where you expect usually a simple cartridge, and then you get something like this. And the reason for this is that this game was shipped with an additional controller. And that was something I was really, really keen on getting. Because in my mind, this is so amazing that you get an additional controller. The video touchpad has not been produced exclusively for this game. So this there are there are other games using this video touchpad, and you can see that you can even change these paper sheets, let's call it like this. And it has actually 12 buttons, which is indeed pretty impressive. Would be technically interesting how they have realized this. And we got 8 directions and 1 fire button. It's 9, and then we are running out of buttons already. Interesting. So maybe that could be a topic for another episode. I don't know. Yes, and this controller is sort of required to play the game. So if you do not have it, you're still able to play the game. You can use a joystick in port 2, and I think you can access at least the view and some of the functions. But well, having the controller, it's indeed something that kind of adds to the game. So this box is indeed a bit over the edge, but anyway, there's the cartridge, and the cartridge looks like new. There has been a sticker on the back side, but anyway, it looks really in very good condition. And there is a manual as well. Ooh, and this has a lot of pages, and interesting. So here it is dated 1982, so it's even a bit earlier than I thought. And yeah, we got English, French, German, Spanish, Italian, I think, as the languages. And yeah, there are a lot of things explained. So I might have Googled this before and had a read, but well, unfortunately, I didn't. So therefore, the gameplay will be some sort of trial and error, and it is a bit similar to a Solaris. I mean, it is some sort of earlier version of it or something like this. It's a complete different game, but Douglas has copied some of the ideas, functions, etc. to Solaris as well. So maybe there will be some sort of familiar feeling. I don't know. We will see. So anyway, that's actually what I got for the 2600, and I'm pretty sure these 3 games will keep me busy for quite a long time. Oh, they all run so like this, and I think I'm not going to need more games for the 2600 anytime soon. I'm looking for a version of Hero, pretty expensive already, so I may come up with one sometimes or not, depending what I'm willing to pay. But yeah, as I said, these games are really more than enough to keep me busy. So considering that I do not spend that much time with gaming, but I thought the 2600 in my shelf deserves some nice games. And yeah, as I said, I'm already blown away by Solaris and I'm really looking forward to the next one. So let's move on, or let's move over to my game rig and have some gameplay there. So as I said, I moved over to my gaming rig and now I'm going to play the games I have presented just, well, a minute ago. Now on my Atari 2600 Junior, connected to my TV, and this whole thing is connected to OBS to record all that stuff. And let's start with hopefully the easiest one, with Moon Patrol. Let's see if it can get some light on it. And let's see if it is really as easy as I expected. Well, not in terms of gameplay, but more or less in terms of, well, let's say, complexity. And yep, so let's switch scenes. And now we should be able to see something. And I'm going to test this Atari joystick I have presented in the former video about unique real game controllers for the C64 and the like 8-bit systems. So let's hope whether this is going to do something. And indeed, I'm making some progress, and I have to admit, it looks a bit different compared to the C64 version I have played a couple of weeks or so ago. Gameplay wise, it is very, very similar, but well, graphically, I have to admit the C64 version looks indeed a bit better. At least the Moon Buggy or Moon Patrol, whatever we want to call this vehicle, is a bit, well, simplified here on the Atari version. But yeah, that's not going to be something that going to stop me from playing it. So the joystick feels amazingly good. I'm surprised that all of the axes are working. And I made it to the first, well, whatever, section. So what's really apparent is that this Moon Buggy, whatever, makes way longer jumps compared to the C64 version. So you really have to time it quite precisely. Otherwise you're probably going to not jump just over one gap, you're going to jump into the next one already. So, but well, it feels quite fluid. Yeah. That was what I was talking about. So, the jump was indeed a bit wider than expected, or longer. Is the jump longer? I think so, yeah. Same thing again. Let me check whether I can slow down in mid-air. No. If it jumps, it jumps. I can slow down before I jump, and then I can make shorter jumps. Interesting. Well, that's physically correct. So if we have some inertia, then we jump wider or longer. Hey! I haven't paid attention to this one. Ah, come on. So, Moon Patrol is indeed one of the games that's probably easy to play but hard to master, because you have to pay attention to so many things. And at the beginning it looks quite chilly, but becomes a bit stressful after a while. Oh, that was those. It really looks a little bit like the Flintstones, like 2 or 3 people are walking inside this buggy. That's quite funny. Ah, come on. So timing of those jumps is indeed crucial. That was too short. Come on. No, not again. So even if I'm slightly disappointed by the graphics, I really had expected something more closer to the C64 version. The gameplay feels really nice, so and it is really enjoyable. The graphics aren't bad, I'm not really complaining. I was just expecting something else, and as we can see, most disappointments in life are based on wrong expectations. But yeah, as I said, gameplay wise, it feels very responsive, it feels very fluid, and there's indeed some variety in those opponents as well, whatever we want to call those flying objects, and jumping over things, shooting at things. Oh, they create more holes. Oh, I see. I haven't recognized this during the first runs. Ah, okay, those spinning objects, they create holes. I see. Oh, finish the stage. I don't know whether we have to finish. Well, indeed, we have to finish all of those stages. Come on, maybe I can jump over it. If I land quick enough, and I simply jump over it, that may work. Yeah, indeed, never tested this before, so I kept shooting those little hills. Oh, come on, that was really close. Yeah, and the joystick is working very fine. I'm really surprised. I had worse models in my boxes. Oh, it's really a bit tricky to, no bonus, to adjust your jumping distance by the speed. Usually, come on, same spot again. Usually you tend to hold the stick up for a little bit longer or something like this, but here you really just set some initial, too short, some initial momentum, and then you just have to hope that this is going to take you to the place you want to go. And I made it! Oh, now I really have to remember this. How I did this, so that it is going to work for the next time. So, yeah, so Moon Patrol, very nice. I'm quite happy. It is working fine. Looks good. Not perfect, but it looks okay. And it is very, very playable. And I'm really happy that this now is part of my collection, so to say. So yeah, indeed, then let's move on to the next one and see how this is going to work. Yeah, and the next one is going to be Star Radars. I already connected the additional control panel, which has some sort of a short cable, so that's going to be a little bit tricky. And I kind of have to balance this on my leg or something and to have the joystick in my other hand, so this is going to be a little bit complex. But let's see if it is going to work. And it is starting. That's a good sign. So, and what I found in the manual is that if we are going to use this additional controller, we have to set the difficulty settings on the Atari to, I think it was A and A for player 1 and 2. Otherwise, the computer and the shields are in automatic mode, which is probably not too bad for the beginning. So anyway, let's just see if we can start a game now. So, and if you press, oh yeah, I can press the galactic map button, and now we can move around. Oh, okay. And we maybe can warp to there. Back to the ship. Oh. Now everything is black, so maybe I'm dead already. I thought we have at least a couple of attempts. So it looks like we warped to this place. Now I can toggle the shields on and off. And they will probably consume energy. Galaxy map. So I'm still there. we made some progress. Actually, not sure. Complete. Okay. Whatever complete means. Huh. I have no idea, actually. It looks like we're warping around, but I don't get why we are not ending up where I thought we are going to go. So I can change directions with the ship, but nothing else. It looks like good. I can enable my shield. I can disable my shield, and I have some sort of a aiming computer or something like this. And then I die. I'm not sure whether this is supposed to be this way. I did some reading about this additional controller, and it was really some sort of build especially for this game in mind, because there are very few games which are supporting this additional controller, and there are actually just 3 games that take advantage of those additional controls added by the joystick 2 port, and the controller itself was sort of available standalone, but most or less was bundled with the game. So probably not going to find so many other games which will take any benefits from this one, or will have some benefits, whatever. So let me target this target computer, and this time maybe switch on the shield. There's some sort of a radar down there. I have actually no idea if these things are moving on their own or if I have any control over it. If we ever going to find them. No, there's something. And I think, thanks to my shield, I survived this one. And now there's some action going on. So what I've read is that the shield is actually depleting our energy source. So that's probably something we made to avoid in the long term, and our energy counters counting down quite rapidly. Now the target computer switched off. I'm not sure if this is a good plan or not. Maybe it's broken or we run out of energy. I've got a lot of questions. Oh. what sort of puzzles me is how do I see whether these flying objects on the radar are in front or behind me? I just know that on other systems, oh, now there's one, you have an aft view, so you can look behind and see what's going on there, which is actually missing from this version, so probably it's going to be a little bit of guesswork. So, in case of doubt, just turn around and have a look. I think it's actually working this way. So there are some dots in your radar. A lot of action going on. But you can see it then just flip around. So, well, it looks like I did something, but probably not good enough to finish the game. Yeah, I think I really have to have another read on the manual and see how I can figure out what I have to do here. So, yeah, I'm happy that this is actually working. So let's see if we can get the third one to work as well. And if this is much more intuitive to play, so to say. So, yep, star radars, and now we are on to Solaris. And Solaris is supporting a second joystick as well to switch between, I think, the galaxy map and the action. And well, but let's start quite simply. So we start actually on a planet and having some sort of lift-off sequence. And even this looks already amazing. And now we are really into the action already. And here we have actually our star map. And the thing here, which is blinking, is my position, so to say. And we came from this planet. And those planets are pretty important because we need to refill there. And now we are warping to the other sector. And there's some action to expect, and our mission is actually to get rid of those alien thingies and to find the planet Solaris, which is somewhere hidden in those probably not visible right now sectors. And we have to work ourselves step by step through those sort of waves or occupied sectors. And at the right hand bottom side of the screen you can see our energy meter, and my experience told me that it makes some sense to go back and refill. And here we can slow down. We can pick up people on friendly planets. It makes no sense. This is more or less to practice that whole thing. But on other planets, we are going to rescue them. And therefore, it's quite good if you have some feeling how this is going to work. And for warping, you can see that the ship has some sort of doubling effect, and we're going to align those two ships as best as possible we preserve some energy during the work process, and this makes it quite comfortable for longer jumps. A bit nasty. So let's go for a refill, just to be on the safe side, and then let's see whether we can change a sector. I'm sorry, guy, I was more focused on my full station. So, and for this we have to go to places like this, and some of them are protected, so we have to fight against others to get through, and some of them are some sort of a wormhole. Ah, come on, that was really mean. But as you can see, some things are really deadly, and some things you may dodge a couple of times, but these were really a bit too lethal, and this is what actually really shortens the game. If you are not able to avoid them, then you're running out of life quite quickly, and this can't be refueled except with rescuing people on other planets, but for this we have to make to another planet, and so now we are in a different sector, as we can see, and the problem here is that we have a lot of asteroid fields we can't go through, so we are actually a bit stuck. So, let's slow down. And try to rescue a couple of people. If you fail to rescue them all, then the sector turns red. And this means that the sector is sort of lost. And just to be a bit more annoying, the game is changing your controls, and I really had a hard time at the beginning adapting to those changed controls, until I figured out it is just enough to turn the joystick around 180 degrees and then everything is going to be fine again. I'm not sure whether that was intended this way, but actually it helped me a lot to keep playing even if a sector was lost, because as we have seen, sometimes you have to go through the sector in order to reach the next one, and therefore then let's see what's going on here. Yeah, and as already mentioned during the unboxing, the graphics are, in my opinion, really, really amazing. And I mean, you have to keep in mind this is an Atari 2600, and with 2 kilobytes of RAM, no video memory, and compared to a C64 or a like system, this is indeed very, very amazing. And I wish there would be some similar games on the C64 or on NES, for example. And as you can see now, the sky or the background is red, so my controls are actually flipped. And I'm actually just too busy to flip my joystick. I think that's something I really have to do episode 1. So, and I just hope that this is going to be a plan that we are able to recharge. Nope, it's not a planet, it is yet another sector. This animation of these space alien life forms coming in is really, really amazing. Fortunately, they are pretty hard to hit and they're pretty good at hitting me. Actually, it's a bit flashy. So, and looks like there are still some aliens in this sector. Let's see if we are able to clean it completely. I think the radar or the scanner, whatever you want to call it, is really, really amazing. I mean, you just have to imagine all this 3D calculations going on here. It is really impressive for this little machine. Even if most of it are probably fake, but there need to be some sort of position the system or something like this. Now we can refill. That's good. Ah no, that's the gateway. Yeah, indeed. Now we have to fight ourselves through this and have to capture the key. And then we can escape to the other sector. Which I probably didn't make. So let's test it again. So, again. And I got a key. And I think this looks like the planet has been destroyed. So that's actually an enemy planet. I don't know why the sector remains red now. And I have no idea what this sound means. So as you can see, there's really a lot of variety of enemy, let's call them sprites. And sceneries and colors, and there's really a lot of action, and I really love that this game has really indeed some nice playing time. So I mean, that's actually the second attempt, I think, and I made it to 31,000 points. That's actually my personal best Full, yeah, I would love to refill, but where and when? So if there's no refill station, it's probably going to explode. So that's actually the last chip we have left here. And here's the refill station. That's sad. Okay, but it looks like we have rescued the planet. Oh, a bit misaligned. I don't even have time to test what the second controller is actually doing. But I'm impressed. The joystick is working very, very well. And well, indeed, those symbols, they have some sort of a meaning, which I kind of forgot right now. So I have to create a little cheat chart or something like this. Cheat. Attach this to my monitor so that I can keep remembering what this stuff is doing and what's actually my task. Oh, come on. A bit upset, looks like. So we definitely need to refill now. Let's see whether we can make it back to the planet. And hopefully we're going to find the refill station, and there it is. Wow. Can't go past this planet now. But I got stuck there. So let's check out what this is going to be. Looks like we warped to a different place. Interesting. Come on. Yep, so that's the end of the game. So far, well, not the end of the game itself, it's the end of my gameplay, so. But, well, 34,900 points, that's indeed my personal best. I never made that much progress in this game. But as you can see, there's still some work to do, and I'm really interested in to learn more about the game, so I really have to sit down with the manual and take some notes and see how I can improve this whole thing. I think we have seen a fraction of the map by now, so there are much more to explore. And probably if you are, well, let's get some practice or something like this. If you are some more experienced player, you can actually play this game for hours, I think. And yeah, I'm so excited about this one for the 2600. I have never ever expected something like this, and as I said, I wish similar games were available for the C64, the NES, or something like this, or other platforms. because this really rocks. I mean, the closest you may get on other systems is with the game Elite, but that's probably a different sort of genre. But in terms of depth and complexity, it's quite close. But in terms of, let's say, the arcade feeling, graphics, sound-wise, something like this is indeed outstanding. So yeah, and I hope it was some sort of entertaining. And if you have any things to say, feel free to use the comment section. And if you like the content, then indeed hit the like button. That's how YouTube is working. And if you haven't done so yet, feel free to subscribe. And if you want to see more interesting things like this on this channel, then please consider joining the YouTube channel membership. This really helps me getting this channel going. Or if you have something you think you can donate to the channel, if you want me to cover something in my videos, then feel free to do so. Get in contact with me, and then we can figure out how we're going to do this. And well, anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for your participation, and see you for the next video. Bye bye.